What is up, guys, and welcome to TBF Week 2 Power Rankings. I apologize that it is late. That's on me. I was in Melbourne playing some Super Smash Brothers Melee, but we're still uploading this. I'm joined, of course, with Gumby.
No, you're not. I'm not here, sorry.
Never mind. I guess we're doing this solo. I'm of course excellent name. So let's just jump in right into number 12. I'll let you start that one off, even though you're not here.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough, I guess. But yeah, we both have the Colorado Agrons coached by Jingus, our host of this league in here. And without trying to be too mean, but he played pretty shit. He didn't really have any answers to the monster that Parksy brought. He seemed pretty clueless. Like, he got hard counted by a Rapid Ash, and that's just not something which should ever happen, honestly. And like, he had 3 Pokemon which took 25% from rocks, and he just sacked off his Claydol relatively early, and then had no forms of removal, which also is like not something you should do. So yeah, all in all, you really could say that Jingus could have done much better against the battle against Parksy. But yeah, that's what we have the last place for, so one needs to be last place, I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, I agree. He played pretty poorly. He was kind of just countered at every side of prep. He stayed in to Toxic a Kieran Black that set up a sub, and then stayed in trying to break said sub without even capping to see if he could break the sub.
Yeah.
So he kind of just let unnecessary damage get on then. And then Claydol was apparently the switch in there to set up a light screen so that he could go and speak Teeny to break the sub. He just didn't do a good job of playing around what his opponent had to offer, and just let his team get weakened really quickly. Didn't have good resource management at all. And because Kohan has left the league, I can't put him in last place anymore. So Jingus now has to fill that spot, that void in our hearts. But yeah, you just gotta improve. Think through your turns a bit more so that you actually can have like a better idea of how to beat the situation in front of you. Because as it is, it just feels like you're clicking buttons
and not really accomplish anything with it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So on number 11, I have the Paris Polygons coached by Baron, and he also played pretty poorly, I have to say. Like, one thing, for example, he did was click in the status move into Misty Terrain like twice or even 3 times, even though I think one was a misclick. Yeah. But yeah, like, stuff like that just can't happen to you, honestly. Like, I understand if it happens once. Like, everybody already forget it at least once. I promise you. Every coach forgets.
I haven't, but that's
yeah, no, you're bullshitting. You have as well.
Nah.
But yeah, like, I would have been okay with it if it happens once, but 3 times in one battle, dude, please, you just can't do that. I gotta give him some props though for the Focus Sash counter Gengar.
That was very cool.
That was a super cool set to kill the +4 Bibarel, but you know, so I gotta give you some props for that. But other than that, you played pretty poorly. So 11th place it is.
Yeah. At number 11, I have Thorzak, who overtook Kohan, and apparently he brought the exact same fucking semi-seer set that Kohan brought week 1. So obviously I got to deduct him a little bit there. But in fairness, I think he could probably improve with his new team.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely a possibility. His team didn't really have a way of dealing with Mega Latias, and like, you know, who does, but that's beside the point. He didn't really play like very well around it, prep very well around it, sorry. He only brought Toxic, and he didn't bring any like Psychic Resist to try to stall down the Toxic at all. His team just like got swept by the Latias, even though it was Toxic, just +2 Psychic cleans through him. So he could have prepped a little bit better there. Oh, was it only +1? Yeah, that's even worse. It does not bode better at all if you didn't have any real ways of stalling Toxic damage on a +1 Latias. So yeah, he definitely could have done a lot better there. And the game was just a lot more dominative against him than it was for Baron. So I guess I'll talk about Baron now, who, like you said, clicked status moves 3 times in Misty Terrain. Honestly, I don't think you should be forgetting about it in 2018. I can understand like the first month after terrains came out, but by now you should have a pretty solid grasp of what the terrains do. It tells you in pretty big font. It changes the screen for you. It's pretty hard to miss that Misty Terrain is up. The fact that the Gengar Raichu, not Gengar Raichu, counter Gengar was very cool, but the fact that otherwise the barrel would have swept is a little bit questionable, that he didn't have any real prep for the barrel with rocks up. It's pretty funny to think about. And obviously it's the barrel, you're not going to think about it too much, but it still shows a lacking in prep if you're that weak to water types, even though you have some fairly decent water answers in your team. So I feel like his prep outside of that Gengar was fairly lackluster.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, as you said, if he would have had rocks up, he would have gotten swept by the Bibarel. I mean, that would have been pretty cool. I would have loved to see that.
So would I.
But yeah, Focus Sash Gengar, counter Gengar was also pretty cool. Anyways, I put the Jersey City Jellicents on number 10. And yeah, as you said, he had the randomized team left over from Kohan, and that team got pretty much destroyed by Megaladias. So it wasn't really too hard for me to win this match. But yeah, he had his Mega Audino, and that probably would have tanked some hits from the Latias. The problem was just that it got knocked out by a Z move, so which you didn't expect, I guess. But yeah, he couldn't do too much with this team, so I can't really blame him for losing to it to a Megaladias. So yeah. And as you said, I'm sure he'll do better next week when he has his own team, which actually
that being said, his own team is Sun, so I don't know. We'll see how Sun performs. It should be very interesting.
Yeah,
at the very least.
Definitely, I agree.
But yeah, at number 9 we both have Online Orphan, who lost to me, and I did not expect this team to drop 0-2 with being so clearly the strongest team in this league. There's so few holes in it. I would have thought there would be less holes in his gameplay.
Ouch.
And his prep, both his prep and his gameplay are clearly lacking compared to his drafting ability, which is obviously phenomenal. So it's clearly a section of his game that he needs to improve. He needs to start practicing battles more, maybe hop on the ladder a little bit to start getting better at battling, and put some more time into the prep aspect. A few things that he did was he seemed to assume that I would assume that he might be Scarf on something when he'd already revealed Scarf on something else, and when Scarf wasn't even the best set as far as this Infernape was concerned. He made a few predictions that made unrealistic assumptions that lost him a lot and gained him very little if they were to work out. And he wasn't really ready for Gyarados at all. He had some stuff that could have dealt with it, but he just didn't really bring it. Even though he had 2 Scarfers, he chose to not go into them. He decided to sack some stuff off, so he just kind of played a little bit questionably. I don't think his battling ability necessarily reflects his record. I could see him going on a fairly good run, maybe break 500 kind of range, but as it is, he is O2. I think he's the strongest of the O2 teams, but still an O2 team.
Yeah, and the one play I want to point out is when he autotomizes with a Celesteela on your Nidoqueen, thinking that that he would be safe doing so, but in the
over predictions like that.
Yeah, and in that turn, he just took 70% from the Thunderball of Nidoqueen without any reason to do so. He just let his Pokemon get wiggled down, and ultimately lost the match through that. So,
and it wasn't even in a sweeping position at that point. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It was turn 5 or so.
But he had no chip on my team, so he pulled the trigger too quickly, assuming that I would swap or not have like any coverage for it or something. So like he made unfair assumptions,
Yeah.
and that really cost him a lot.
Anyways, on number 8, we both have Mike Man WBA from the West Bromwich Altarias, who lost 3-0 to TFMC, and the battle of those two guys were pretty uneventful, I would say. Like Mike tried to set up with his Mega Aggron, and then just simply forgot that he would get destroyed by a guard who was Focus Blast. To be fair, maybe he was hoping that the Focus Blast would miss, but still, it was just like he didn't expect some moves, I guess, and just stayed in when he shouldn't. I guess I can see how you wouldn't want to lose your curse boosts on your Omega Aggron. But yeah, you just gotta switch out when there's a guard or a special attacker on the other side of the field, which is just going to rip you apart with your Mega Aggron. Because you're Mega Aggron, you know. That's the only weakness you have. Don't stay on fucking special attacks and you'll be fine, but... yeah, he didn't. And yeah, that's how he lost the match ultimately.
Yeah, big reason why he's at the bottom of the 1-1 teams right now, aside from how he played this game, which wasn't necessarily the worst of the 1-1 teams, but the fact is that he had the least deserving win as well, in my opinion. His last week win wasn't very convincing at all. It came off the back of like chokes from his opponent's side, and he didn't play very well that game at all. So I think that's coming to catch him up now. You're seeing that his like battling skills aren't there necessarily compared to the other coaches that he's fighting. So the fact that he fought a coach that he could pick up a win on isn't really necessarily reflective of deserving of a high position, which he is definitely a big reason why he's close to the bottom here. You can't forget that Focus Blast is a move, and he literally said the words, "I forgot that was a move" in the chat after he lost his Mega Aggron. Also, that shouldn't have even killed if he had Spadef investment, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he was especially invested in his Curse Aggron, which was also pretty iffy. He should have been able to live that hit and kill back if he really wanted to. But
Yeah.
I guess he chose to go Fizz Def for some reason, which is like just some minor prep issues as well with that. So yeah, that's why he's down here for me.
Yeah, pretty fair. So next up on number 7, we have different teams again. I put the Toronto Rewilds with Levy here, and that may not be very fair, I guess, to put him on 7th, because now he's 1-1 and lost to arguably one of the better teams of the league. And yeah, he lost because he lost 4-0 to Spoink and the Spoinkers. But yeah, like Levy pretty much got hard counted by the Electivire, which just Spoink brought, and that's pretty much the same as Jingus, who got hard counted by Rapidash. Like it should not really happen to get hard counted by Electivire, which has a balloon. Like it's still a tier 4 Pokemon, and like people maybe don't expect you to bring the Electivire, but like it still should not happen that you get so much trouble from an Electivire. And I mean, I guess I know that Electivire has a good move set and a good move pool, more than that, and that you can bring coverage for pretty much everyone you want to. But still, you just like need something to take care of it and not like lose half your team to it, which Levy ultimately did. But yeah, I do give Levy some style points though for the Explosions Gun tank. I always like to see stuff exploding in my face. So.
Yeah, I think you might have been a little bit harsh on Levy, in my opinion. I placed him a bit higher. I have placed TFMC down here. I'll just pull this up. TFMC did win against Mike, who lost last week to Parksy. So I didn't view that as necessarily a super impressive win. It wasn't really a dominative win either. It was like a fairly standard game, very uneventful. There's nothing really I can point out that specifically TFMC did well in that game to get the win. So it was just like kind of a underwhelming performance, I guess. There's nothing really to point out. He played fine. He didn't misplay too much, I don't think. But, you know, it just isn't as impressive of a win as some of the people above him. There's no real knock to him there. Just decide to keep him at the same rank. No reason to really rank him up, in my opinion, there.
Okay. Going to number 6, we both have the Amar Kamaldos, coached by Parksy, who won 5-0 against Genghis. Parksy pretty much just did what he had to do, and it was a pretty easy win for him, because as we said, Genghis played pretty shit. But yeah, like Parksy had some nice sets and was able to pretty much dominate Genghis. So you can't really blame his prep, I guess. And yeah, he never let go of the win, or like of his win cons, I guess, and just did what he had to do to beat Genghis, and he did in a 5-0 matter. So it's pretty convincing. But yeah, then again, it was just Genghis. So take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
Yeah, he definitely had some really good stats. The Subaru Starkium was definitely a good win versus his rather bulky, slowish team, and did a lot of work there. Obviously, the Rocky Helmet Quagsire was fairly standard stuff to beat the Mega Kangaskhan, and he just kind of had stuff to deal with everything that Genghis could bring on, and Genghis didn't really. No one saw that. Genghis didn't really do much to shut him down or anything, which is why he's not really jumping up too much with a 5-0 win, because aside from anything else, he did lose last week to a coach that isn't considered to be super high up in this league currently. So, you know, a win versus Genghis isn't going to be valued quite as highly as some of the other wins, even with a higher record. So, yeah, he's just not going to get bumped up too much. +3 and +2 is pretty good bump, though. So,
yeah,
should still be happy with this.
I think so too, yeah. And then on number 5, we have the exact opposite teams than we had on number 7. I have the Stockport FC, coached by TFMC. And you said that he didn't have, like, flashy plays or whatever. And, like, there was one play in particular which I remember, which was the Okuberry Metagross into Ice Punching on the Salamence. And that was pretty nice, I have to say. Like he pulled those berry plays.
He only took 50% otherwise.
Yeah,
so that didn't really stand out because he still would have taken the hit.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that was more of a play on the other guy's part to not scout for Ice Punch.
That's very fair. I would have to agree with that. But yeah, still, like, TFMC just likes to play with his berries. He did so against me as well. Even though it didn't work out that good for him there. But yeah, it's just like TFMC likes, as I said, he likes to play with his berries, and he did it again, and I guess it helped him win the match a bit better. But yeah, so plus 4 places for me. Hooray! I don't know.
Yeah, I've put Levi here. I think he was probably the strongest 1-1 team. He did lose to like one of the stronger coaches in this league. And I don't think he played it badly at all. The only real issue was that he let Seismitoad get chipped down, which ended up having him kind of lose to the Electivire. But, you know, it's understandable that you would let Seismitoad get chipped down because Seismitoad has to deal with a lot of Pokemon. That's kind of one of its issues, no reliable recovery with so much that it needs to deal with. The one thing that he did do was, even though the Rotom Wash swapped into it, he didn't think to scout HP Grass. I felt like that was a pretty obvious play coming in, that he would be HP Grass if he just came in on it. And I can understand that Seismitoad is usually the Rotom Wash counter, but because he didn't bring the Seismitoad in on Rotom Wash, got to knock him a little bit for that. And I also do have to knock him for not bringing any fire coverage on the Skuntank. At that point in the game, if the Skuntank had Fire Blast and like Sucker Punch, it very much could have won. Even though it was a 4-0, Skuntank definitely could have swept through. So I'm not sure why he didn't have Fire Blast. He instead went for Explosion, which was a little bit weird to me. He had just given up, I guess. So yeah, it was a loss, but it was against like the highest ranked coach. Spoilers for the next slide, but the highest ranked coach currently in the PRs, and it wasn't like a terrible loss. So I didn't want to knock him too far.
Fair enough. On number 4, we both have the New England Patriots coached by Gengaraichi. And I'm going to start off with that he probably should have won higher because he only won 2-0 against Baron. And as we said earlier, Baron played pretty badly, clearing status move 3 times into Misty Terrain, for example. And just like stuff like that. Gengar had some pretty nice sets though. If you want to call them like that. For example, the HP Fire on Tapu Fini into the Ferrothorn. Which I guess is not like that unlikely to bring, but still a good bring. What I want to say. But yeah, he still won his match, which again was only against Baron. But he's 2-0, so can't really put
Dude, you gotta stop saying only against though. That's like way too harsh. I kind of agree, but you gotta phrase it differently, man. No, I get what you're saying.
But yeah, like he's 2-0 now. One of the 4 teams being 2-0. Yeah. And but yeah, he's probably the worst out of the 4 teams who are 2-0 at the moment.
Yeah, I agree, for sure. His wins have been the least impressive, for sure. His wins are both against 0-2 coaches currently. So like that's obviously not going to be quite as impressive as some of the other wins necessarily. Even though my wins are also both against 0-2 coaches, that's like your wins weren't very dominative against those coaches either. Both of them were 2-0, so like your differential isn't quite as good as the other coaches in that. And yeah, he realistically should have won by a bigger margin. The barrel almost swept, so that was cool to see, but he just kind of did let some things die that he didn't really need to. And, I get it. The important thing is the win in the end. It's just that's not going to put you above the other coaches who have been showing more dominative games so far.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you pretty much only have to make top 6 in the end. I think we have top 6. I don't know. So it's like if you win all your matches, you're still going to make those top 6. But if you want to be up high in the PR, you gotta do a bit more convincingly, I guess. But yeah, going into the top 3, we both have the Aussie Kangaskhan's on number 3, coached by Ian, obviously.
Yep, that's me.
You want to talk about your match?
Yeah, I feel like I played fairly decently. I didn't really play spectacularly necessarily. I made a few minor misplays here and there, like bouncing on the Mega Latios the second time. I thought to myself, this might set up, but it wouldn't matter if it did set up. I didn't really think about sub, I guess. In the end, my win would have been a 5-0 or even 6-0 if I didn't get the hacks. But that being said, I also did hacks in a little bit with the Hydreigon early game, so it kind of balances out. With that being said, it was just a finely played game by me, I guess. I played to my win con well enough, but I just haven't fought as impressive opponents or won as dominatively as the coaches above me, so I can't really place myself higher. So yeah, just third.
Yeah, I agree. Like you played pretty decent. And like you never were in danger to lose the match. So you definitely played better than Gengar did in both of his matches, so can't put him below. But yeah, as you said, your opponents weren't as good as the ones which I and the Spoinkers had to face. So I guess number 3 is pretty good spot for you.
Yeah. Number 2, we of course have you, who's once again riding on the back of that like 6th pick Mega Latias. No clue how it fell to 6th pick, but God, that Pokemon's so good.
Yeah.
Once again, it just won because his opponent didn't really have an answer to it. Even when it was toxic, +1 Psychic just ran through. And yes, he could have prepped more around it, but you played it to a point where it would win anyway. You had a bunch of stuff in the back to win as well. And yeah, you've just gotten some pretty big wins so far. You're at like +8 differential right now, which is definitely quite high, all things considered.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mega Latias, good Pokemon. I'm surprised you let it die. But
Yeah, I was debating if I should let it die or if I just let it stay in and get the 8th kill. And like it wouldn't have mattered differential wise for the Megaladius kill death differential. So I just decided to get the next kill on it. I could have saved it and saved some differential to win 5-0, I guess. But at that point in time, I was just like, yeah, it's whatever. Let's just get it over with. Kill the, I think it was the Feraligator, and then having only the Alola Mola left. So I just wanted to get it over with. And I didn't want to have to let Toro play anymore with that stupid team he had. But yeah, I probably could have played a bit smarter. I maybe could have predicted the Toxic on the Thunderous, but yeah, no, it was good prep on Toro's part, so can't be too mad about it. And yeah, Megaladius still pulled through, so yeah.
Yeah. Number one, we both have Splink and Splinkers, and he's been the coach who has had to try the hardest to get his wins, I feel. He's fought the arguably strongest opponents out of all of us. Yes, the first one was Jingas, but the second one was Levi, who was ranked like second by both of us last week. I think it was. So, both of us, we haven't really fought high-ranking opponents yet. Neither has Gengar. Spoink has, so that's obviously going to be points in his favor. He played the game quite well. He had some very solid prep all around, and yeah, not a lot to say. There wasn't really anything that was like super out there. Swapping in the Rotom to HP Grass, the Seismitoad to clean a path for Electivire was definitely impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, just not a lot to say, I guess.
Yeah, it was a pretty non-flashy game against Levi. But yeah, in the end he won super convincingly and made the right plays, so really can't be too mad. And yeah, as you said, he only won, or I wasn't allowed to say only, but yeah, he won. He won week 1 to Jingas, and then yeah, to Levi, whatever. But yeah, I think he deserves the first spot this week. And next week he fights you, so I'll see how that turns out. And well, actually, the game's already passed because
we're recording this after.
Yeah, I know.
Dude.
I was about to say like the games were last week because we're like 1 week late, but yeah, you guys will see how it works out. I mean, I guess you all already saw the battles on the respective channels, but oh well. Let's not get into it. Let's make it next week.
Yeah, we're about to record it now anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, so
I think that wraps it up. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, all right, guys. See you guys next week.
Tomorrow,
I think we'll probably upload this one, just the day after. So
yeah, this will be up on
see
Saturday.
you then. See you up next week. It's just kind of a force of habit for PRs for me to say. You guys understand. You're mostly just the YouTubers who are playing that are watching anyway. So see you guys tomorrow for week 3 power rankings. Looking forward to it. Yeah, bye.
Bye.